here? Oh, they dimmed the lights. I can't even see her.
Oh no, we need more light, more light, more light.
Okay.
More light.
Hello everybody. Thank you so much for welcoming me. I hope I'm not too offending by being a Quebecer. I'm so happy to be here in Manitoba and so privileged to be able to talk to you. I have to be honest with you by telling you that I know that here in Manitoba, I'm in a place in Canada where people know me the less. So if you would allow me, I would like to talk to you a little bit about me, because everything that I am today is mostly because my husband, a proud retired surgeon, Claude Rainville, who served 20 years in the Canadian Armed Forces as a loadmaster, actually freed me from my fear of him committing suicide. I owe everything today to him because he's the one who allowed me to talk freely about our reality, into our fortress, into our parallel lives, the ones we shared in the past 15 years. Some of you may know me as the vet spouse who ran after Minister Fantino a couple of years ago. I have to tell you a little bit about my political rewards, the civilian views, the one the rest of the world has about me, because in reality I know that nothing really changed since then. But because I feel like you don't know me and I feel so different with my pink hair and my fancy nails and my accent and my English that is not perfect, I just want to tell you that I never stopped the fight. I was happy when the Chatelaine named me as one of the 5 women who impacted the result of the last elections, because I have to tell you that I was happy that Mr. Fantino was not re-elected. The Globe and Mail named me as an advocate for all veterans in Canada, so I'm sorry. It's mostly for you two here, so I think that it's good that we know each other a little better. But 2 months ago, I received the Veterans Commendation for my political involvement since then. But it's only a political thing, you know, as I said. Nothing has changed. Well, in my life, a lot has changed actually, because my husband and I announced that we were separated a few months ago. And when I received the commendation, actually, it was the opportunity for us to separate, because as you can imagine, we still are the best friends, but it was difficult for him to see me living in his house, knowing that I'm the one who basically, the advocacy killed my passion for everyone I know. So since then, I took the opportunity and I started to do a cross-country tour in Canada in order for me to understand the challenges experienced for military families across this country, because I'm also a member of the Veterans Affairs now new committee, Family Advisory. So I feel like it's also my responsibility when I talk on behalf of people to know what I'm talking about. And it's also for me a healing process. But since I started this journey, you see, I've been in the Maritimes and I found it so educational because, for instance, in Newfoundland, I've realized how much the generosity that people have towards one another is actually hiding homelessness. I realized how much it's difficult, it's easy, I'm sorry, For a veteran in needs in Newfoundland to actually hide in somebody's boat or in a basement because everybody's so helping, but yet it is in Newfoundland that a veteran was found 4 months after his death in his home. In Prince Edward Island, I met the first homeless woman who served. She was in Charlottetown. And she made me realize how much, and every time you defend a cause, there are always some forgotten. In this case, we tend to forget the women also. And I am grateful because, as I was saying, each province is making me realize what I wasn't aware of. In Nova Scotia, I realized how much the communities really support their veterans. In every little town, you see monuments for remembering the service of the veterans. And to be honest, I cannot wait to see what Manitoba will have to tell me and show me. So thank you for allowing me to be here. But I want to take a few moments because the past 2 years taught me how much we don't understand, and it took me so long to understand what PTSD really is about. It took me years to understand the language of the person that I love the most. It took me years to realize that I could be the best ally or the worst enemy of someone who is suffering. It's kind of strange. Recently, I was in a family gathering and there were some fireworks. A friend of mine who is also a veteran who served in Afghanistan suddenly said, "I feel like I'm in Afghanistan now." And people actually started to laugh. I really felt like I was the only one who was getting the fact that he was probably getting into a dissociation thing. In fact, I was probably the only one who understood why he was so angry after in the car. The rest of the world would look at him, seeing but not understanding. I understood how much the worst enemy is the misunderstanding of those we love. You know, when we talk about PTSD, it affects every single aspect of the life. Let's talk about medication, for instance. I mean, for years I saw my husband having those terrible nightmares. You know, seeing the emptiness in his eyes, him just grasping for air, having a look that I would never see during the day in his face, seeing his body but perfectly realizing that it was not him. Well, you start the medication, pills to sleep, pills to wake up, pills to lower the anxiety, pills and pills and pills. For 6 years, my husband saw a psychiatrist every 6 weeks. For 6 years, every 6 weeks, he would come back with a new prescription. I can assure you now that, for real, when you show me a prescription, I actually feel anxiety because nobody asked me what I was seeing at home. I was my husband's voice, yet I was the forgotten, so were our children. So, you know, and let me talk about the pills, and excuse me, I don't want to be offending, but I tend to be honest when I talk. But you know the pills, okay, you get all those pills and the pills have the side effect. And the point is, in our life, at one point, it affected our sexual life. for years, I mean, my husband had no problem regarding our sexual intercourse. And then he starts a pill, and from, you know, one day to another, it doesn't work anymore. And you know, when things are not doing well already in a couple, as a spouse, what do you think I said? You don't love me anymore? You think I'm fat? That's it? It's over? You don't love me anymore. And I had him, and now I realize that today, put in a situation where he actually had to convince me that he was loving me on top of everything, while he was the victim of this whole process. This is how important it is to educate the people. You know, my political battle is all about the identity and the dignity, and it's not a feminist thing. It's because I believe that if we get a little bit more, we also lower the burden on our veterans who are already suffering. As much as you want to help me, if you do it through my husband, you are making me dependent, but you are also making him the only responsible. You know, when I was working, we were making, let's say, 100,000 a year for sex. He had 2 children, I had 2 children from a previous marriage. When I had to stop working, we went from 100,000 to $42,500. The first year it's not so bad, but when the roof starts to leak, it's 15,000 that has to go away, and with the years, believe me, it's not easy. So I am the collateral damage of PTSD, but it's not because of my husband. It's because the system abandoned him. It's because I was abandoned by the system. It's because my children were forgotten. Tonight, I want to thank you, whoever you are, no matter where you served or not. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being allies to a cause that touches and concerns every single one of us. Never forget that what you see does not always reflect what is inside. Thank you for every one of you, and I wish you a very good evening.